There's three of them outside. Hikers, probably. Older maps usually show a route over the roadway behind my house, but there isn't one there anymore. I don't mind them usually. They just walk down and then walk back up a few minutes later, and I go and explain the situation to them. I saw these three early, so I hoped I could go out there and talk to them before they went down. Save them the trip. They look like a family. One man walking a little bit in front of two women, one just a teenager. The girls were looking at a map while he strode ahead, confident. It was late evening. The sun was just barely falling behind the hill. Summer nights like this mean the night comes late. I saw them from my window and walked around to the front door quickly. I put my hand on the handle and glanced outside through the glass. And then I stopped. I stopped because they had. For a moment I thought they had just stopped walking to check the map or something, but just the glimpse sent a chill through me. Like something was just barely off. Uncanny valley, right? I looked at them a little closer and saw they had not just stopped. They had stopped mid-step. The one in the front had her left leg raised in the air and the other two were weirdly balanced forward, a position that would be difficult to maintain. I assumed they had seen me and were doing some kind of performance, like those street performers that look like statues and maintain poses. And then I spotted it, the thing that made my skin prickle. Their map was stuck. It was somewhere between the adult woman's hand and the floor, mid-air. It was not touching anything that I could see, and it was completely still despite the strong breeze. My mind raced through the options. Wires wouldn't explain it, how it was so still. Maybe it was actually solid and only looked like thin paper. Either way, I let go of the handle. If they really were performers, no harm in staying inside and leaving them there. I had neighbors, so even if there was a problem, the other people would be aware of it. I rationalized it to myself and turned away, unable to get rid of the throbbing cold in my stomach. I walked into my kitchen, made a mug of tea, and sipped it, trying to warm myself, despite my already perfectly heated house. I couldn't help myself. I walked over to the window. They were still there. I hadn't moved an inch, but I was closer now. Looking back, I wish my window had been further away. I wish it was thicker and soundproofed, but it wasn't, so I could hear them. The walkers were talking. I could see it now, their mouths moving just a little to communicate enough. It was hard to make out the words, but the mother and father were talking in an attempt at a calm tone to their daughter. She was sobbing. I felt a pang of sympathy, shame for ignoring them in a rush of fear. I'd ignored how wrong this felt before, but this was too much. I desperately wanted to go help them, to hug the daughter and tell her it was okay, but I couldn't. I couldn't go outside, then it would happen to me. I'm not sure why, but I had the overwhelming feeling that the exact same thing would happen to me. It was getting even harder to see them. They had stopped moving as the sun set, and now they were only barely visible from the lights in my house. I remembered my neighbors and looked down the street. I could see Maureen just next door. She was looking at the window like I was. I tried to get her attention, but she was looking at the hikers. I usually avoided calling her. She was nice, but always had some new drama going on. She's just old and bored, so she tends to talk a lot, but we've been vaguely neighborly friends for a few years. However, I quickly picked up the phone and dialed her number. I saw her turn and walk out of sight before picking up. Hi, Maureen. It's just me.
Patrick, are you all home right now? You see those people outside my house? They've been standing there for hours.
It's only been minutes. I'm an exaggerator as always. Yeah, I see them. Please, don't go outside.
I wasn't planning to. Lady travelers will probably beat up an old woman.
I think they're just hikers. No need to be worried. I think that they're just... I couldn't think of a good reason as to why they were acting like that, but wanted to assuage her fears. Well, let's just try and figure out what they're doing, and if they need help, just don't go outside, okay?
Here's the first time. You don't need to worry about me, Patrick. I'm gonna call Albert, see if anyone further than the street saw where they came from.
Alright. Thanks, Maureen. Talk to you in a little bit.
Bye, dear.
I look back at them, almost impossible to see now. It was only because I knew they were there that I could even make out their shapes, and I could still hear them. They were louder now. I could make out a couple words, then just one over and over. Help. I suddenly cursed living alone, wishing I could at least talk to someone. Maybe if there were other houses on the other side of the street, I could at least communicate with the people across from me. It was just open fields. I used to like the view. I looked down the street again, and again, my spine felt like it was crawling out of my body. Maybe I have some sort of ability to spot things that were out of place in just a glance, but something else was wrong. The lights from the houses were out. The only lights that were on were the three closest houses on the right. I looked the other way, and they were all on, all the way down the street. That's how it usually was until much later in the night. I looked back and tried to see details in the blacked out houses. Probably a power cut. But why was it just those ones? Were we all on the same grid? and then a flash. The furthest house's lights just went out. The furthest house's lights just went out. All of them at the same time, like a fuse had blown. I frantically reached for the phone and tried to call Maureen again, damning myself for not knowing the number of any other further relatives. It cut straight to an automatic voice. The line was in use. I hung up and started pacing, looking at the 2 remaining lit houses and glancing at the hikers outside. I couldn't see them, but I knew they were there. Their voices were quieter and they were talking still. Could they see me? I had no way of knowing. It was too late now. I should have tried to talk to them earlier. I let out a shriek as my phone burst into life. It was Maureen. Maureen, is that you? Are you okay?
No need to shout. I'm fine.
Sigh of relief. Cut short as the corner of my vision flashed. The next house had gone dark. It was only Maureen's house lit on the right side. Did you talk to Albert? I tried to keep my voice level. I didn't want to panic her. Maybe it was just a power cut.
He picked up, then it started talking nonsense. He said his arthritis was acting up worse than normal. He couldn't move. Something about a power cut? He wanted me to call an ambulance, but you know how Albert is. Hypochondriac. I wish you would check on him and...
Her lights went out. Maureen, are you still there? I could hear her breathing.
Patrick, something's wrong. I can't turn around.
It's okay, Maureen. Just the power cut. You're just scared.
There's something scratching.
What? My voice sounded like a child who had just heard the monster under the bed talk.
On my door?
That's just your cat.
Door's open.
Then she screamed. I pulled the receiver away from my ear as the loud, piercing shriek filled the air. I could hear it from the phone and from the house directly. Maureen? I sounded distant for myself. I'm not sure if I hung up or she did. I looked out my window, trying to see the hikers. They were quiet now. They probably heard it too. I felt like I was in a daze. I stumbled over my sofa and sat stiffly. My laptop was open next to me, half-finished work on a glowing screen. I deleted it and started typing. I'm not sure why. No one saw this coming. Maybe I could warn someone. I typed frantically, fingers moving faster than in all the work I had ever done. And then a flash, and my lights went out. The only light was the glow of the screen. My fingers could still move, but I couldn't stand up. I could talk. I know, because I screamed. I dare not make any sound now. My laptop is still plugged in and getting power. This isn't a power cut. I haven't heard this hiker since the scream. I hope they're okay. The only thing I can hear now is the clicking of the keys and the scratching at my door. Hey, so thanks for listening to my first creepypasta reading. This has been They Just Won't Move by Patty Barrett over on Reddit. And I've got a link in the description if you want to read the original text. Just take a look at it. So I've gotten feedback from a few viewers on my Let's Plays and streams, and they said that my voice would probably be good for reading creepypastas, and I thought it was actually a good idea. It was actually one of the ideas I had for the channel back when I started it. I had a few things I wanted to cover, but this is actually one of the things that I never got around to until recently. So let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Leave a thumbs up if you like it. And if you want to see more creepypasta readings, some Let's Plays, and streams and all that stuff, make sure to drop a subscribe so you get updates when I release new content or go live while live streaming. And as always, have a great day. Remember to burn bright. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.